Good morning. Good morning. It's time to rise and receive. Welcome to your 10-minute morning send off designed to support you in receiving what you most want by unlearning struggle. So, today we're going to talk about how to invite good fortune when you want to heal. When you want to heal. So, I think it's pretty safe to say that every single human being on this planet, if you ask them the question, is there something that you like to heal? If they have any level of awareness, self-awareness, there's at least one thing that they could probably come up with. If it's not obvious, they could think about it a little bit. And for many of us, it's very obvious. It's very obvious. So if there is something that you'd like to heal, whether it's on an inner world, whether it's some kind of unrest, discontent, very simply put, maybe some long-lasting feelings of sadness, anger, fear, anxiety, depression. Maybe you can even name it as a trauma. Maybe there's something happening with your physical body that you'd like to heal. I really invite you to settle into today's Rise and Receive. I have a message I'm really excited to share with you. And just receive. Receive what's here. Bring it here. Receive what's here. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I am passionate about teaching people how to receive. Receiving is its own very specific, concrete, and results-producing skill set that I have discovered over my many years as a coach most people don't know how to do. Most people do not know how to receive. We hear about it, we talk about it, we mistake it for other things like getting, achieving, if we even have an idea of receiving. But most of us really don't know what receiving is. And what receiving actually is the perfectly balanced counterpart to everything that you're doing to manifest your goals, your dreams. So if you feel stuck in your manifestation efforts, even if you have practiced consciousness related tools like law of attraction, visualization, all sorts of, inner world tools, you might still be caught in what I call an over-reliance on the doing model of power. So the doing model of power relies on a whole lot of thinking, a whole lot of mental activity, and a whole lot of action. So figuring out, do, hunt, pursue, etc. And when you're really good at that, but are missing the balancing partner to it, which is the receiving, if you don't know how to receive, even if you stop all the overfunctioning, most people are left with, well, now what? But the actual receiving of everything that they've been pursuing still eludes them. And this is when we get stuck in what I called waiting for our long overdue rewards. So what I did today, as I do each morning at Rise and Receive, is I spread out the cards from my brand new Receive card deck. And this idea of healing has been in my orbit. It always is because it's my line of work, but it was really up in the last 24 hours. And so I asked the question, how does one invite good fortune when you want to heal? When you want to heal. So the card that I pulled today is Receive Now by Sitting. Receive now by sitting. So I'm not going to read the whole card, although, boy, I sure loved reading it again. So if you want the whole card, the unpacking of the message here, I will include a link to it because I did a separate video for the whole card. But what I'd like to do today is highlight a portion of it. And then I'm going to dive into a very specific thing around healing that some of us may know, some of us have no clue, but it's kind of like the keys to the kingdom. And a lot of people just are not aware of it. So here we go. So this is from Receive Now by Sitting. Sitting is the embodiment of receiving. It's a state of seeing, feeling, and listening to whatever arises in your awareness and your body with attentive curiosity. Sitting quite literally acts as a key that opens the door to all that life is offering you right now. An effective leader sits and receives input. An engaged student sits and receives learning. A sweet pet sits and receives affection. A mother sits and receives her child. The intentional act of sitting gives your body the instruction that it is now time to receive. And as you take several very long, slow breaths and bring your awareness into your body, your nervous system gets the message that it is safe to relax. As your being settles into sitting, your awareness becomes an invitation. And while the things that come to you may not be physical, the non-physical appearance of thoughts and feelings, and I want to highlight feelings, are the substance of all manifestation in the physical world. When you sit, answers, inspiration, ideas, solutions, clarity, movement, healing, I'm going to highlight the word healing, release, knowing, your next steps, and more are revealed. Do you have any idea what life has to offer you right now, in this moment? Give yourself the gift of sitting, breathing deeply, and simply being each day, and welcome the discovery. So that's an excerpt from Receive Now by Sitting. And if this alone inspires you, take it into your day with this willingness mantra. I am willing to sit and receive right now. I am willing to sit and receive right now. So, as I was reading, I highlighted a couple keywords. One was feeling, and one was healing. And the message that I really felt inspired to offer today as we unpack this card, as you look to invite good fortune when you want to heal, is something that if you start to pay attention, you will start to see it in many different teachings and fields of thought and modalities. Everything from spiritual to therapeutic applications. And the first time I actually heard it, even though I was familiar with the concept, was in a spiritual community. And this is the phrase: you need to feel it to heal it. You need to feel it to heal it. All right. Now, part of the learned struggle that so much of us, the people who come to these Rise and Receives and resonate with this message, what we are wrapped up in comes from this over-reliance on the doing model of power. And the doing model of power is all about thinking and action. So what we've come to learn, what we've come to rely on, what we've been valued for, what we've been compensated for, what we've been paid for, what we've gotten our self-esteem from, is figuring things out. Now, there's many other reasons we rely on the mind, okay? But for today, we're just going to talk about it from this over-reliance on the doing model of power. So when you have, really practiced something and you're really good at it, you just keep going to it over. So when we feel pain, when there's something that we want to heal, what do most of us do? We try to figure it out. Why am I feeling anxious? Where does this come from? How do I stop this? How do I heal this? How do I get over this? How do I conquer this? It's all of this questioning in the mind, figuring out, okay? You cannot heal internally here through the mind. The mind can only help you understand things conceptually, but healing occurs in the body. Healing is all about feeling better. Feeling better physically, feeling better emotionally. So think about it. If healing is ultimately the thing we want to experience, which is to feel better, wouldn't it make sense that the solution is in the feeling world instead of, I want to feel better, let me think my way to feeling better. They're two separate languages. Okay, so if you're willing to experiment with this, and usually people who are willing to experiment with this have been pushed up against the wall. It's like, I've tried everything I can. I've tried to figure it out. I've read all the books. I've listened to the audios. I've even talked about it in therapy. As a matter of fact, side note, one of the reasons I just decided to become a life coach was I did a lot of therapy. And therapy has its place. However, if you find that, like me, you got really, really good at identifying the cause of your issues and talking about them till you're blue in the face and being able to articulate them to anyone who would listen, but nothing changes, there might be something missing. You might need to open up to this concept around, how can I be guided into the wisdom of feeling? How do I tap into that? So sitting and being willing to feel is the doorway into that. Now, I realize that this may be a foreign concept to some, and for others, you sort of have an idea, but you find that you just keep popping into your head. That's part of the journey, because this is a well-ingrained habit. But I'm here to get on my soapbox and say, if you really want to experience healing, you must learn how to harness the power of your emotions and learn how to sense and feel in your body with safety, which, if we've never had it, if it's a foreign concept, it is going to be part of a discovery process. So sitting is one place to begin. Just open the door. I am willing to sit and receive right now. Now, to reinforce this idea, I want to talk about, just give you pointers to some other places where you'll start to see, oh, there's actually evidence for this in the world. Okay, so one of them is, I remember when I heard this from the Dalai Lama. So I was watching a video from the Dalai Lama, and he was talking, talking to a huge crowd, but he was answering a question about, somebody asked the Dalai Lama, what do I do when I feel all these feelings, anger and sadness and grief? And his answer was very simple. He said, experience it fully. He didn't say go figure it out. He didn't say anything that had to do with the mind or thoughts or thinking. He said, experience it fully. He was pointing to feeling and sensing in the body. Okay? The Buddha reached enlightenment through the sensations of the body. All right? There's a lot of misunderstanding with meditation that it's about being of no thought and no mind and dealing with the thought. That's a piece of it. But the path to enlightenment, the path to freedom, the path to healing is through sensing in the body minus analysis. Again, this is a discovery process if it's a foreign concept. We do need to learn how to feel. And so this is something that I'll say that for me, there were two key chapters in my life where this became absolutely like the aha of the ahas and the expansion in my healing. The first chapter was when I began to heal from bulimia. And that was the beginning for me, as I'm talking to those of you for whom this might be new. This is where I learned literally how to feel my feelings, because I was completely disconnected. And as I learned how to feel my feelings, and it was a meandering, sometimes messy, sometimes intense process, but I had the support and the safety to explore this, I started to heal finally from the obsessing that comes with eating disorders, okay, the control and the obsessing. And then the next chapter, which was in the last decade of my life, was when I discovered that I had trauma. And when I started to understand things through the trauma lens, that's when I learned that trauma doesn't happen in the mind. It happens in the body. And the healing came from returning to the body and learning how to sense, feel, and follow the wisdom of my body with supported guidance. That's what led me to learn how to become certified in some trauma modalities, okay? So there's many places where you will find support of this. And I just wanted to give you a couple examples of this. Now, if this is something that you would like to learn more about, I just want to plant a seed about some things that are coming down the pike, okay? to really, tap into the power of feeling as the path to healing and the path to inviting your fulfillment and inviting good fortune and learning how to receive, because it's all connected. All right. So a very simple place is, if you like these receives, these rise and receives, you can get your own receive card deck. Go to receivecarddeck.com, put in your name, your email, and I'll let you know when they're available. Okay. There's a workbook that's also in progress. The other thing that's going to be coming down the pike is in December, I'm going to be teaching a free class. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it, but I wanted to plant a seed because if this speaks to you, keep your ears perked. And if you're on my mailing list, you'll hear about it. I'll be making more announcements. But here's the title. It's a little long. I have to read it, but here it is. Okay, so this will be a free class coming in December. 5 reasons why feeling is faster and more effective than thinking to receive your fulfillment and your heart's desires. So we're going to deep dive into the power of feeling. 5 reasons that feeling is really the keys to the kingdom. All right. And this will be a preview into a new program that I am 99% sure I'll be teaching starting in January, called Feel Worthy. And the tagline for that is reveal, revive, and receive the rewards of self-worth. Feeling is the doorway to reviving the self-worth that is already within you, your natural worthiness. And when you embody your natural worthiness, because your consciousness creates watch out world in terms of what you become able to receive. So this was a full rise and receive today. You have your 10-minute morning send-off around sitting, which is I am willing to sit and receive now. And if this is resonating in your feeling body, if something in you is going, oh my gosh, this might be the missing puzzle piece, or oh my gosh, I'm on the right path and I want to go deeper, sit, receive, practice feeling and sensing as best you can. And if you'd like to learn more, just keep checking out the free links that I provide for possible next steps. I'm here to serve. Ask your questions. And if this was helpful, please like, please share. And if you're on YouTube, hit the red subscribe button. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye, everybody.